Hello everyone, Twisted Animatronic here. Now, Glamrock Freddy, everyone's favorite animatronic. I mean, I love him so much, I got a full animatronic replica sitting right next to me. But there's far more to this lovable figure than meets the eye. In fact, he's more than likely the most dangerous Glamrock of them all and has a dark past, which I will explore in a second. But this raises some serious questions. If he was really evil, why is he so nice to Gregory? Well, believe it or not, this video could completely change your view of Glamrock Freddy by the end of it. Because you see, there are some key points here which got me thinking about Glamrock Freddy. If he was so nice, then why does he put Gregory in his chest cavity? Again, you might be thinking, well, that's a nice thing to do. Yes, but it would go against everything in his security safety protocols to put a child inside of his chest cavity. Not only that, he's extremely deceptive. He lies numerous times to his superiors, which would go against his programming.
Freddy, you're supposed to be on lockdown.
Officer Vanessa, I do not know how I got here.
I told you she was after me.
I said nothing. I will keep you safe. Let us go.
I mean, everything in his programming would literally tell him to hand this child over to his superior, who in his mind and programming mind would see as someone who would keep the child safe. Now, immediately you might be saying, well, Twisted, it's because he's obviously haunted by the spirit of Michael, the true antagonist of Five Nights at Freddy's, who wanted to save his brother, the crying child. He feels he now has to save Gregory. Well, personally, I really do like the idea from a narrative perspective that Michael would be in Glamrock Freddy. I mean, it would make great storytelling, but unfortunately, the story of Security Breach just doesn't tell us this. Now again, you might be saying, well, what about that speech where he says, I found myself for the first time?
When I cleared the path, I did not want to, but I had no choice. Now I have a choice. I have changed.
All my friends are down here.
They are so angry, confused. But I can protect you. I am not me.
You know, that speech. Now, immediately, people thought that upon finding himself, that would mean that he found his spirit, Michael, down there. You know, and that's how Michael's spirit then possessed Glamrock Freddy and his friends, which were down there. And all the other spirits and victims from the FNAF 6 burned down pizzeria, they were burned in the fire and then went into the blob, and they're still very angry. Hence why he says his friends are down there. Well, has anyone actually thought that his friends are the original animatronics which are down there? I mean, this is the burn trap ending we're following, right? Chica's down there, Roxy's down there, Monty's down there, and he refers to them as his friends several times throughout the Security Breach playthrough.
Those parts belong to my friends. I would never do anything to hurt them.
I'd also like to mention he says he found himself for the first time when she brought me down here. She is obviously referencing Vanessa/Vanny, we know that, but it doesn't answer the question of him finding himself and why Vanny would have brought him down there in the first place. Well, believe it or not, like I said, I don't believe there to be a spirit inside of Glamrock Freddy, and I can prove that for you right now. You see, some lovely chap on Reddit called Seriously Unserious basically broke down the entirety of Freddy's boot sequence and his show sequence. And I don't mean just a little bit of a breakdown, I mean from a computer scientist professional. And I'm going to attempt to do that justice right now. You see, Freddy was infected with the glitch trap virus, along with the other animatronics, far before Gregory actually turned up at the Pizzaplex. We know this to be true because various residents, as they're called, were going missing, which I will come back to later because it plays a heavy part in his theory. Various memos throughout the Pizzaplex, which we collect as Gregory, show us that the animatronics are also acting rather suspiciously. All of this basically points to the Glamrocks being corrupted, and where they have a command input, which basically means they're being directly controlled or having commands inputted to them from a control server. You know, probably the one like we see in Vanny's room. Well, not probably, is, because we actually see in two of the endings where Vanny uses that computer and orders the staff bots to disassemble Freddy.
Disassemble Freddy.
Meaning that is indeed the control server for the glitch trap virus, and also where Gregory orders the staff bots to disassemble Vanny. You know, because that's a normal security protocol you'd have where staff bots rip apart a human being. You know, that's just there. No, that is the glitch trap command virus. And also, this glitch trap virus also gives them a corrupted security mode. You know, it's obvious because we see that throughout Security Breach, which is used by the free infected Glamrocks, Glamrocks? All the staff bots and the endos. Hence why they're tracking you down using their facial recognition software, because they've literally been told to look for you specifically because you're a target of interest. Vanny's obviously issued that command via a computer, and wham! And now you're being hunted by the glamrocks, the endos, and the staff bots. But oddly enough, you might be thinking, well, this didn't seem to be the case with Freddy. Well, let me continue to explain. You see, before we meet Freddy, he did indeed have the glitch trap virus. Now, I'll come back to prove all that in a second. Let's continue to explain how he didn't after a certain point. You see, during the intro cutscene, we have our first look inside Freddy's mind, and this is extremely important here, and not one I've seen covered in depth at all on YouTube. There are several main sections of importance here. First, you can see a block of text in the left portion of his mind, and it shows show mode, indicating obviously Freddy's in show mode, because he's on stage, he's performing, right? Below that, we basically have a command line, which basically shows us where the commands are being run from and what they basically actually are. That's why you see System 32, because that's basically the home folder of where Freddy's commands are run from. Bottom left is self-explanatory, that's the system integrity folder. If it gets too low, he basically crashes. And here's an interesting one. On the right-hand side, we have a single text box, and all it says is test run. This might look innocent, but we know Freddy's potentially infected with the glitch trap virus. We advance this scene 2 seconds on, and a new pop-up has appeared in the top right. Test run has finished loading, and a new box has appeared and is loading more programs from System 32. The left-hand text box has also changed to something called Rec 556 and is loading something called DTD. And this is where we get the start of the warning, because in the top right we see a series of tests being run, and they return back with the N value, which is probably no, meaning whatever it was looking for, it hasn't spotted it yet. Advance a couple of seconds, and the warning system seems to escalate, indicating that a threat has been detected, and it's assessed it as high to a threat level. And you've probably guessed it, it was Gregory. I mean, it was scanning through the hundreds of faces in the crowd, and then all of a sudden, it finds Gregory, and deemed Gregory as a threat. Now, immediately you're probably thinking, why? Just let me continue to explain all this, we'll come on to that later on. And this is where things get extremely interesting, because at 152, we see the next bit of important information. We see an icon show up in the right-hand side of the screen. Many people assume that this was a child, but it looks more to me like a generic human icon, meaning whatever it's identified the threat as a human. And like I said, the most likely candidate was Gregory, because he was one of the missing children, remember? And definitely would be on the watch list for the glitch trap virus. And at this point, we can basically all but determine that test run icon we seen earlier is 100% associated with the glitch trap virus. And that means Freddy was indeed infected with the glitch trap virus because he was running in corrupted security mode. That's how he identified Gregory. And here's the real kicker. The next couple of lines are extremely important. They basically all relate to command lines and information telling us that Freddy's been overloaded with information. That's probably because he's on stage in show mode, which would require a huge amount of RAM and resources, and this now virus is trying to run its programs, it's scanning, it just overloads Freddy, and because of that, he shuts down. He has a complete glitch out. And then, as we know, Freddy boots into safe mode. Now, I have no doubt you guys know what safe mode is. It basically means that all non-essential programs are disabled, and only ones which you actually need to run are loaded. This means that obviously show mode, that isn't an essential program, would not load. This is backed up by saying, when Gregory first goes into the Faz Kid, Freddy actually says that he's not allowed to perform. It's not that he's not allowed, he simply can't because he's in safe mode. Show mode is disabled. This would mean that the actual glitch trap virus root folder was in show mode all along, and because it cannot be accessed and activated, glitch trap virus is now disabled, and because of that, Freddy is now free of the glitch trap virus. Hence why when he meets Gregory for the first time, he has no memory of him because his banks are now completely empty. With the virus now gone, right, you'd assume that Freddy returns to his natural personality and programming. Well, he does to a degree, because like I said earlier, we know there's something still wrong. He lies to his superior, still doesn't follow safety protocols by putting Gregory in his chest. Something is still amiss. But nevertheless, at this stage, we found out why Freddy has become so friendly. Now, I'll come back to why Freddy's still potentially not 100% with Gregory later on. Right now, you're probably thinking, well, if he was infected with a glitch trap virus before, what was he actually doing to make him so nasty? Well, we know from one of the endings that various residents had gone missing, and they'd gone missing prior to this because we have various memos scattered throughout the Pizzaplex telling us that kids had gone missing. We all know what you did to those kids. kids? Why did the Pizzaplex reopen, indicating it was closed before? And if you want to go into the books, well, numerous kids go missing, but we're not going to get into that. And this brings me on to the part where Freddy says he found himself for the first time. We know Freddy and Vanessa had gone down to the old pizzeria before. Freddy's the one who cleared the way, right? Obviously, going down there leads you to the burn trap room, or in Ruin, as we know it, the mimic room. Burn trap is obviously wasn't there to begin with. It was always the mimic. And not only just the mimic was down there was a hidden scooper room. Now that's odd in itself. Now immediately you might be thinking, well, this is an old scooper room, right? Wrong. Because this room actually has huge vat containers. Not the vats from Fallout, I mean actual huge metal containers which store liquid inside of them. And on these vats actually have the Fazbear Entertainment logo. And not the old logos, I mean the new logo from the security breach era. Meaning this was likely built during the construction or when they were unearthing the foundations ready to build the new Mega Pizzaplex. Now there's two ways this could go. One, it could be that Fazbear Entertainment themselves were using a source of remnant to power the animatronics and some of the Pizzaplex. I mean, it would make sense. Some of these animatronics don't seem to recharge at all. We see the animatronics in Ruin never go into a recharge station ever, meaning they're being powered by some sort of unknown power source. Potentially could be powered by the remnant which would have been taken from the missing kids, ejected into the endos of the glamrock animatronics in this scooper room. Vanny was using the animatronics with the glitch trap program to go out and capture children specifically for this, or she could have been capturing the children in an attempt to do a copycat-like killings because she's infected herself with the memory of the glitch trap virus / the William Afton bug. That literally means prior to Gregory, Freddy was going out and capturing children. Not a very nice thing to do, Freddy.
I have done nothing wrong, ever, in my life.
I know this.
But then after he has the glitch trap virus removed, wouldn't that mean he's now squeaky clean and would abide by all the rules and turn Gregory in? Well, we know that doesn't happen. In fact, it's the complete opposite. Freddy actually disobeys direct orders from his superior to turn Gregory in. This doesn't make any sense at all, because if he's rebooted into safe mode, he would literally be the most cleanest running animatronic there is in the Pizzaplex. I mean, he would not be going against any rules, but he does. Why? We know from the stage where Freddy collapses to Freddy waking up in his green room is completely black. We have no information or lore on any of that. But what we do know is that when Freddy wakes up, Gregory is seemingly in his green room. Now, I'm not going to do a full breakdown on why Gregory is GGY and the expert hacker and has gone around the Pizzaplex before, but it's highly likely that Gregory did put his own little bits and pieces and hackery shenanigans in Freddy, enabling Freddy to further assist Gregory than Vanny. And in fact, actually go against Vanny directly. I mean, why else would Freddy be breaking his own program in to put a child in his chest? That place is reserved for birthday cakes and pinatas. Disobeying her directly, and numerous other things which seem to back up this theory. And how further to this, he's seemingly completely missing from the Pizzaplex in Ruin. The likelihood is he has been taken by Gregory or left with Gregory of his own accord, which is something he says himself he cannot do.
No, I cannot exit this facility.
But he would be able to if Gregory changes his programming, which seems highly likely here. You see, he really was a nasty piece of work before because of the glitch trap virus, very much like the other animatronics. Roxy, she was very nasty under the glitch trap virus's control. I mean, she was hunting Gregory, hellbent on getting him, but then once she gets freed of it, she becomes a protector of Cassie, fighting against the mimic.
Cassie, get out of here! Run!
Saving a guest. I believe the same thing would have happened to Chica, which is what I did last week. Well, the last video, I highly recommend checking that out. The only one which didn't really have a redemption arc was Monty, and that's because he was just a knob anyway. I believe he would have took out Bonnie just because he was jealous of Bonnie's position in the band. I mean, we literally know he wanted to be the front man of the band because one of the endings you have Monty as the lead person in the band. I just think he was a very jealous animatronic. But ultimately, Freddy was a killer before, under the glitch trap virus. He got wiped of it because of safe mode, and Gregory changed his programming to enable him to break some rules and assist Gregory in his takedown of the glitch trap virus, ultimately shutting the door on Vanny. And with that, I'm shutting the door on this theory. And with that, what do you guys think? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Please let me know. And if you enjoyed this, you'll love the Roxy video, especially with the secret message she was trying to give us all along about the mimic in the end of Ruin. Highly recommend watching that video. And if you enjoyed this, hit that subscribe button, please. It really does help me out so you can see more videos like this and we can reach more people, building our own little FNAF community. Share it with a friend even. I'd like to thank my YouTube members on screen now, with a special mention to Lawrence C. and William Plays, who's Golden Twisted Ones, and an extra special mention to Penguin Lover, who's an ultimate theorist on the channel. Thanks guys, I'm Twisted Animatronic. Stay safe out there, superstars.